to The Shoreline, brought to you by Shores and Islands, Ohio, where finding your Lake Erie love is a sure thing. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Jill Bauer, PR Manager for Shores and Islands, Ohio. We bring you The Shoreline every week to give you the inside scoop on what's happening here in our island and coastal communities. Welcome to a new month. It's October already. Fall just started, and already it feels like it's flying by. But what an amazing summer we had in Shores and Islands. 2 weeks ago, when the season officially changed with the autumnal equinox, Megan posted a really fun video on our social media accounts, which featured a summer soundtrack filled with sounds and memories from an amazing season on the North Coast. It includes clips from Ohio Bike Week, Put-in Bay, Cedar Point, the Ironman Triathlon, the Tommy Boy Fest, and even a little bit of Luke Bryan over at Bash on the Bay. I need to get Megan back on here soon to talk about all things social, but if you're not following us on social, you should be over there following us. She is posting all kinds of great content on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and more. And speaking of soundtracks, we even have playlists on Spotify to accompany your Shores and Islands adventures. My favorite playlist is called Girls Weekend, but she just did a list for the Strongman Champions League, which we held last month in Sandusky, and that playlist is a really good one for workouts. There is a song playlist for every Shores and Islands activity and mood, so be sure to check it out next time you need something besides a podcast to listen to. Of course, the fall season is my favorite season. There's so many things to do and ways to celebrate. Be sure you're checking our events calendar for all the fun things that are coming up this month, like the Witches Walk event, which we talked about on the podcast last week. And this weekend is Oak Harbor's Apple Festival. And you know where to find that calendar? Of course, it's on our website, shoresandislands.com. Well, one of the fun fall activities people love doing is visiting a farm market, especially when that market offers other activities like games, corn mazes, and more. Well, we have one of the most unique and cool sustainable farming operations right here in our region. And wouldn't you know, they also offer a farm market and they have fun fall activities. Joining us to talk all about it is Kate Jones, Retail Operations Manager at the Chef's Garden, where she oversees both the farm market and the Chef's Garden at home. A third-generation member of the Jones family, Kate is the daughter of CEO Bob Jones and the niece of Farmer Lee Jones. You might recognize him from social media and television. The, little red bow tie and the overalls. It's an iconic look. It's a full-scale family farm. Kate finds deep significance in carrying forward her family's legacy while also looking ahead to the future. Kate grew up right here in Huron before spending a decade away in Minneapolis, building her career in higher education and banking with formal education in communications, leadership, higher ed, and conflict resolution. She eventually felt the pull to return home and has been a part of the family business for the past 3 years. While the Chef's Garden first made its name through chefs, Kate's heart is in the retail market. She loves supporting anyone who brings people together around the table, whether that's in a restaurant kitchen or a family dining room. She's passionate about creating experiences that are every bit as meaningful as the vegetables themselves. Welcome to the Shoreline, Kate.
Thanks, Jill. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Well, can you start just by giving us a little bit of the history of the Chef's Garden and where you've been and where you are today that makes you such a unique farm?
Yeah, absolutely. Our story is a fun one for me and a fun one for me to tell because it's one that I don't think anybody of my family really would have guessed we'd end up where we end up. And so we are just continually grateful for it. My grandfather started farming back when he was in high school and, learned a lot from farmers in the area and from the family history in it. And so he was farming and that's kind of what started the family tradition. And he was selling to grocery stores primarily. And we ended up transitioning along the line to growing food, specialty produce, primarily for chefs in the culinary industry. And that is something that we've done for about 40 years now, hence the name The Chef's Garden. And so we have built some really incredible relationships with some incredible chefs who have taught us so much and have been so generous with us. And it's something that we are deeply passionate about doing. obviously, as much of the world did back in 2020 when all of the restaurants closed, that kind of mandated a necessary pivot for us, if you will. So some of the retail markets that you see with us today are opportunities that came out of a difficult couple of years for the restaurant industry. So we went back to farmers markets. We grew and we sell at farmers markets 40 years ago. And when we transitioned to growing primarily for chefs, we had kind of stopped selling at farm markets. And so this was a return to us, kind of a return back to our roots to sell at farm markets. And it's something that we really realized how much we loved and how much we missed. So the Chef's Garden Farm Market came to be about 5 years ago now. And it's something we intend on continuing out because it's one of our favorite things. It gives us that kind of direct access to our community that we had really been missing for 40 years. So that is a piece that is a little bit newer to us, but feels really familiar in a great way. But then we also have the Chef's Garden at home. And that is an opportunity for any home cook across the country to purchase those vegetables as well. The same vegetables that are used in Michelin-starred kitchens, you can order directly to your home. And then we also have people in the area may be familiar with the Culinary Vegetable Institute as a great place to experience the farm and experience what we do and experience that bridge between the food that we grow here, right here in North Central Ohio, and then the world of culinarians who can kind of transform that food in ways that we never would be able to imagine it otherwise. So we do a lot. There's a lot of things happening here around the farm, but all of it centers around this passion towards growing really exceptional vegetables and growing them in a way that is healthy for us as human beings. We are really passionate about growing nutrient-dense produce, but also growing that food in a way that is healthy for the planet as well. That's kind of that simple mission for us, and it branches out in a number of different ways.
So can you talk a little bit more about your sustainable agriculture practices, how that works, and why it's so important to you?
Yeah, absolutely. You may have bitten off more than you can chew, Jill. I just want to tell you up front, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm deeply passionate about this. So if I go off on a rabbit trail here, I love to talk about this. We farm in a way that is known as regenerative agriculture. It's something that we have been more and more adapting to over the years. And regenerative agriculture is not anything new. It's not anything that we invented. It's something that farmers were doing centuries before us. But really what regenerative agriculture is at its core is farming in a way that builds the health of the soil, builds the health of the land. Unfortunately, one of the things that has happened in the world of commercial agriculture these days, and one of the things that we have done by continually farming in some practices that have been relatively harmful for the planet. And we're learning more and more about that. And it's one of the things that we have learned, and we have chosen that regenerative agriculture is the way for us that we feel we have the best opportunity to farm in a way that is responsible both for humans and for the planet. So that is kind of our way forward. There are 6 core tenets of regenerative agriculture, and so I'll talk through some of these. I won't bore you with a lecture here, although I could.
It sounds like you're very knowledgeable on the topic. Do you do that? Do you go out and speak on the topic?
Occasionally, if people have interest. There's a lot of people who are interested in what we do, and we love to educate. We love to share about what we do because we're passionate about it. So yeah, I do it occasionally and love to. So when we talk about regenerative agriculture, it's this idea of putting nutrients back into the soil so that things we plant in that soil can take up those nutrients and create plants that are healthier for us. And we can then eat those plants and become healthier humans. So we want to make sure that we are farming in a way that protects our earth, that puts nutrients back into the soil and puts nutrients back into plants that we consume. So a couple of things that we do that help us grow in a way that is regenerative are things like cover crop. We use multi-species cover crop. So if you drive past our farm, you may see some fields that look like they're full of weeds, but actually what's happening is that we have multiple species of cover crop growing into that soil that are putting nutrients back in that soil. They're also doing things like holding the soil in with deep root structures. So when we farm, we only farm approximately a third to a half of our land at any given time. So that means if you drive past, you may see half of our land that looks like it's just under weeds, but there's a lot of growth that is happening. There's a lot of life, of microbial life that is happening in that soil. So what we're doing is building the health of that soil so that when we plant and we harvest plants in that soil, we have a product that is naturally more healthy for you.
That's really interesting. So the things that you plant, the different vegetables and fruits and whatnot, do those vary from year to year as well, or are you just doing the same produce in different fields?
Yeah, they absolutely vary. The chefs that we work with are endlessly creative, and they are always looking for new products and things that they can be more creative. They can express their creativity with on the plate. So that means that we're doing the same thing. We are adapting what we're growing. We're growing it in different sizes and shapes and colors. So there are some staple crops that we will have all the time, but there are whole places on the farm that are dedicated to experimentation. We are trying things, we are growing new things, we are bringing back old varieties that haven't been grown for a long time. We don't do anything in the world of genetic modification, but we like to find varieties that are unique and different and aren't necessarily grown in the commercial world. And we like to experiment with those so that we can provide our chefs and we can provide our home cooks with a really unique and creative experience.
So what are some varieties or produce items that maybe Joe Schmo doesn't know about? What are we not able to find in the Walmart produce section that only you guys have? Or what kind of things are you learning from the chefs that are like, oh, this is a new and unique thing? Or like you said, going back, what's kind of coming back? What are those?
Yeah,
What are
absolutely.
some of those things?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things, specifically in the world of microgreens. We do a lot of microgreens. You'll find some of them available in our farm markets, but you'll also find them online as well. And microgreens provide something really unique. One of the things that we believe in deeply is that a plant has something to offer at every stage of its life. And so a microgreen is just the very early stages of a plant. Right after it's seeded and it sprouts, there are a tiny stem and two little leaves that come off of that stem, and that is what we harvest at the microgreen stage. So we can harvest almost any plant at that stage. And some of the really unique things that you'll find is that you can harvest a plant that doesn't really look like that plant. Like you could harvest micro broccoli, and it certainly doesn't look like a broccoli floret. But when you taste that microgreen, it tastes exactly like broccoli. So for the chefs and even for our home customers, it's a great opportunity to be able to taste that product and get the flavor of that product without actually having to have a piece of broccoli on that plate. And it's also, we're finding that at the microgreen stage, a plant has a much higher nutrient density than at a full-grown plant. So if you are somebody who cares deeply about the amount of nutrients that you're eating, you can focus more on those microgreens and you can have a much higher nutrient density in those products. So those are some really fun things, really fun ways for us to, and for the chefs especially, to have a lot higher flavor content in such a small product. So there are any number of those microgreens. One of my favorites that we grow is red ribbon sorrel. It's a beautiful green leaf, but the stem of those leaves and the cells that come up through it are this really beautiful red, and it's this tart, sour leaf, a flavor that you don't expect when you bite into a leaf. And so there are any endless amounts of flavor and shape and texture and color that can come out of these microgreens to kind of aid in what happens when a chef is able to take that product and create something really beautiful and create something even maybe that your mind hasn't thought about experiencing in a flavor or on a plate before.
Yeah, I mean, it really sounds like they can change the flavor profile of something that you're not going to, like you mentioned with the broccoli, you're not going to expect that it tastes like broccoli when you're looking at something that has these microgreens on it.
Right.
So, okay, so world-renowned chefs, they're experimenting and they're doing these things. How does the standard home cook know what to do with some of these, unique varietals?
One of the things that was really important to us early on as we started making the commitment towards working with chefs is we knew that we had so much to learn from them. We appreciate food and we love growing food, but we're not chefs. We are farmers at heart. And so it was really important for us to build those relationships with chefs. And so currently on site, we have an executive chef here. His name is Jamie Simpson, and he is incredible. He's so good at what he does. And one of the things that he's best at is helping us as farmers understand the ways that we can use a product in a way that we hadn't thought about it originally. And so he has been a really fantastic resource for us. And so he's actually created numerous recipes and videos. We try and post content with him pretty consistently so that chefs and home cooks who just are maybe culinarily curious, who kind of want to experiment in that way, we have those resources available so that you can learn from him and kind of experiment at home in different ways. So we have this massive network of recipes and videos and content that Jamie has provided so that you can check it out and learn a little bit about how to use that product in a way that maybe you hadn't thought of before.
That's very cool. So you mentioned the farm market that you now have for at least the last 5 years. So people can actually come in and shop and see these things and smell them and I assume taste them and talk to people who know what to do with them. Because I know one of the things that you do quite often is have chef demos there at the market.
Yeah, it's something that we love to do. Again, I've said this before, but chefs have this, innate ability to think about food in a way that I would never be able to think about it, right? And so to have them come in and have them help us look at a product in a different way or learn how to cook it in a way that's different. I think sometimes we learn how to cook something and that's just the way that we cook it forever and ever. And to have somebody look at a product and think about how to cook it in a way that's just a little bit different is so fun to kind of expand your realm of cooking capacity and broaden that horizon. And so that's something that we love to do at the farm market is just experiment and try new things and try product that maybe people have never used before. One of my favorite examples of that is a Jerusalem artichoke. It's a tiny little tuber, and you can use it in a number of ways. And it's not, people look at it and they think it came off of a spaceship, right? But you can actually use it as a really great substitute for mashed potatoes. It's got this nutty, this creamy texture when cooked, but you would never think about it in a way when you look at it like that. It's not something that you would find in the stores usually. And you look at it and you would have no idea how to use it, but it's got a number of uses. You can shave it really thin and add a nice crunch to your salads. And so that's one of the things that we love to do is to have chefs come in and help us learn about different ways to use a product that we wouldn't have thought of originally.
So you guys have a lot of special events that take place at the farmers market, primarily on weekends. So in addition to chef demos, you often have pop-up vendors or food trucks or classes. What are some of your favorite events that you guys have had and how do people find out about what's going on?
Yeah, if you follow us on social, that's the best way to see what we've got coming up. And so some of my favorites we have done, the festivals, we usually do a summer festival and a fall festival, and those are always so much fun. The fall festivals are some of my absolute favorites. It's a great opportunity to have so many people come out and experience and to shop and to see things that they hadn't seen, but then also to just enjoy and experience and engage. So those are some of my absolute favorites. We've also had some really cool opportunities with our orchard. In the past couple of years have started an orchard, and I don't know how much you're familiar with the world of apple planting, but they take a couple of years to really produce. And so our orchardist, Becky, who is brilliant and is so fun, she has kind of created something really beautiful where we have an apple orchard that is will be in full production next year, but we've got some of her apples in the market right now. And she has some really old varieties, some of the original Johnny Appleseed varieties, some of the original Kazakhstani varieties, some varieties that are red flesh. So you bite into the apple and it's red instead of that white that we're used to. And she has been doing some events where she takes people on tours through our orchard, and you can learn from her. And that's been one of my absolute favorites that we've done as of late. She takes everybody on a wagon, and you go on a wagon ride through the orchard and can learn from our orchardist, Becky. That's an absolute favorite of mine. So I'm really a fall girl at heart. And so any of these fall activities, they're my absolute favorite.
Well, just last year, I believe you added some additional farmyard activities, some like fun things for families to partake in when they visit you in the fall. Can you talk a little bit about what some of those attractions are?
Absolutely. So last year, for the first time, we did a corn maze. And we've continued that on this year. So we have a new design for our corn maze, which is so fun. I've only gotten lost a few times significantly where I felt like I needed to ask for help. But we do have maps available if you want to be a little wiser than I was. But we've added our corn maze opportunities, and then we have a lot of fun games for kiddos in the back. So we've got a corn pit that you can hang out in, and we've got a couple of, like milking the cow simulators and some opportunities for kiddos to practice their lassos when they sit on some bales of hay that look like horses and get to practice their lassos. And we have something we call hillbilly basketball, where you can shoot some hoops in an old grain bin, and it's got a self-return on it, so it'll bring those balls right back to you. So there are so many fun things that we've got out there. And the maze is actually, there's two mazes in one. So we have a full maze, but then we also have a smaller maze for the kiddos. So if you've got some young ones and you don't think that they'd have the longevity to do the full corn maze, we do have a smaller maze that's only about 0.3 miles to get through. So there's something for everybody out there.
Oh, wow. And one of the unique things that I've seen that you guys are doing as well is allowing people to go through the corn maze after dark.
Yeah, so that's an event that we have coming up. It's something that we're really excited about. Our corn maze usually ends for the night at about 7, but later on this year in October, we have our maze in the dark event. So it's kind of a bring your own flashlight event that we're really excited about. So it's something that we wanted to be able to do it. It's not going to be a scary maze. It's not like a haunted maze, but on October 25th.
Oh, it's going to be scary.
Well, bring your flashlights, bring your headlamps. Yeah, nobody's going to jump out at you in the maze.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
It's not a haunted corn maze, but I mean, there's just a level of being in the cornfield in the dark that, makes you think of Children of the Corn.
Truly, yeah. There are some horror movies that are maybe based on that plot line, so don't think too much about it.
Stay with your pals. Go in a group.
Find a corn maze buddy. But on October 25th at 7, from 7 to 10, you'll be able to go through the maze late at night. It's, like I said, a bring your own flashlight kind of situation. We're really excited about that one.
How much fun is that? So you also said, we were talking about the different seasonal festivals and that fall is one of your favorites. I know that you also have coming up on October 11th, your Harvest Festival. So what kind of special things are happening on that day?
Yeah, we have a ton of vendors coming out. So if you want to just come shop, there are so many people, some of our favorites, some of our regulars, but then some new vendors. So there's going to be a ton of tents with vendors to be able to come shop and maybe even do some Christmas shopping ahead of time. But then we have Naughty Lobster coming. They do such a good job, so we're really excited to have them. And then we'll do kind of some fall classics. We've got our corn maze going, right? We've got face painting. We'll have some wine tasting. We'll have food trucks out there. So it's going to be a real fall party.
Oh, I love it. So beyond the market, you did mention Culinary Vegetable Institute a little bit. And you guys also kind of host some public events and dinners and things there. Do you have anything coming up in the upcoming months?
We do. We actually have a couple of things that I'm really excited about. We've got a couple of dinners coming this fall. So one of them is a fall vegetable showcase dinner. So we've been doing seasonally some showcase dinners. We did a tomato showcase dinner earlier on this summer. And so upcoming on November 1st is the Fall Vegetable Showcase. And we're partnering with Forage Sellers to do a kind of a perfect picture of the fall season. And for us, this is such a time of abundance and harvest. This is when we have every product that we're going to be growing is pretty much available right now. It's that perfect crossover between, we still have summer crops, we still have a lot of tomatoes, but we are moving into the fall season. So that is going to be a really beautiful dinner. And so there are tickets available for that event as well.
So, I mean, I hate to rush this amazing fall season because, as you and I have both said, it's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
But I know you guys do a lot of really special things for the holidays as well. Do you know kind of what's up your sleeve for November and December?
Yeah, so we are going to have a couple of fun things happening out at the market and at Culinary Vegetable Institute. So one of the things that CVI does that is a local favorite is that they do a Thanksgiving to go option. So you can, if you really just want to focus on spending time with family for the holidays and you don't necessarily want to spend a couple of days slaving away in the kitchen, you can go online and order either a la carte, or you can order the full Thanksgiving feast from CVI and then just fill it up, right? So we have a couple of options for that. That's happening, but we also have it available if you're going to be traveling for the holidays. We also have a Thanksgiving to go option. This is obviously one that needs to be cooked and prepped a little bit more, but from the Chef's Garden at Home, we have both of our Thanksgiving and our Christmas meals ready to go. You can purchase everything. It comes with recipes. It comes with the products that you need for those feasts, even down to your Thanksgiving turkey. Our permaculture operation at the farm market raised turkeys this year, and so we have turkeys that are raised on our farm. Everything that you need for that meal, your recipes, all comes in the box. So whether you just want the meal prepared and you want to pick it up, you can look at CVI and they have those options for you. If you want a little bit more of a hands-on cooking experience, but you want some guidance in terms of the products and the recipes available, we have that available for you too at the Chef's Garden at Home and at our farm market.
And it's all local. Raised locally, grown locally, everything is from within several miles of your home.
Exactly. It's all done right here on our farm. One of the things, the phrase that we use around here a lot is know thy farmer. And so literally come on out and meet us and you can meet. So it's my brother and my sister-in-law who raise our turkeys and our livestock. It's not just turkeys. We have chicken and pigs and beef here. And so you can shop regeneratively grown meat in our market as well. And so if you want to meet the farmer who raised your Thanksgiving turkey, we're right here.
That is really, really cool. I love that option. Now, is the market, public facing market, are you guys open year round or are you seasonal?
We're open year round, and those dates change a little bit. They're always posted online so you can see. Right now in our fall season, while our corn maze is open, we are open Sundays. We're open Sundays until 7. Usually, though, we're open Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay, that's awesome. Is there anything else that I'm missing or that you wanted to make sure that you shared with our listeners about Chef's Garden or the Chef's Garden Farm Market?
One of the reasons that it's so special for us is, we get to do what we love and we get to do it as a family. And I think one of the things that we believe so strongly, is that there is something inherently humbling about growing food for people. And we want to make sure that we're growing food that we want to serve our families. We are passionate about growing food that is done in a way that, like we've said, we just want to make sure that it is healthy for humans and it's healthy for the planet. And we feel so passionately about it that that's the kind of food that we want to serve our families. So we just love to do the work of bringing people around the table, whether that happens in a kitchen setting, where, you are having this dining experience that is blowing your mind with the amount of creativity that's coming out, or whether you're sitting around a table experiencing family recipes that have been passed down from generations, or, something that you cooked together as a family, whatever that is. We believe so much in the power of food and how much food is important, but also what happens to us as human beings when we gather around a table. And so that's what we want to provide for people. And we feel truly grateful to get to do what we do and to do it alongside our own family. So we really, it's a true family affair, right? We get to do what we love with our own family here and our farm family. but then we do it for your families as well.
Oh, I love that. It's a really, really heartwarming. You have such a far-reaching impact because you've got the farm market available for anybody that's within the local area. If you're within Shores and Islands, if you're within, an hour or two, it is worth the drive to come to Huron and visit the Chef's Garden Farm Market in person. But if you can't, talk a little bit more about the at-home program that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Chef's Garden at Home is something that we love because, like I said, so much of our history has been in these relationships with chefs, and we are eternally grateful for those. But we want to be able to make sure that people who love food and love that experience can also have the same thing in their homes. We don't want to limit where those vegetables grow, right? We want to grow exceptional vegetables, but we don't want to limit where they're heading. So we love to do what we do to support chefs, but we think it's equally as important that people who either care deeply about the health of the food that they're eating, or people who really just love to experiment and want to find things that they can't find other places, we want to grow a product that people can trust. And so whether that's here locally that you're shopping at our farm market, whether you are experiencing that product created and cooked by one of our chefs, or you want to experience that product, at your home table in California, you can do that. Or even if you live locally and you want to share that product, you want to share a little piece of your hometown with people that you love. We just want to create a really incredible product, and we feel deeply passionate about growing vegetables in that way. And we want anybody who wants to experience that, or anybody who thinks the way that we think about food, we want you to be able to receive them as well. So
do you go online and order by produce type or by meal, or how do you figure out what to order and how to get it shipped to you?
So if you check out our website, it's chefs-garden.com. The first thing that you're going to see is kind of this delineation for chefs and at home. And so if you just want to see what there is available, check out the at-home section. We have not just produce that we grow, but we have ancient grains, some flour, pantry items. We're not just limited to produce, but we one of the things that we love to do is to take our waste product and turn it into something. So you'll notice things like our heirloom marinara sauce. So it came from an excess crop of tomatoes, and we turned it into a marinara sauce so that we didn't throw out those tomatoes. So you'll find really fun things like that on our at-home site. So you can go online, shop at home, and you'll see boxes that we've curated. So if you really are looking for things that have high nitrates, you can find our high nitrate greens box. Or if you really just want a sampling of what is the best on the farm right now, you can look at our best of the season box. If you really want to eat in a way that has a lot of phytonutrients, so a lot of color, you can find our Eat the Rainbow box. So we have a number of boxes that we've curated alongside of Chef Jamie, who's kind of helped us build the recipes for those. You can find a la carte items that you're looking for. You can find some of our pantry items, some of our ancient grain flours, some of our jams and marmalades. So there's a lot to explore online.
And those would make great gifts as well.
Absolutely. Yes. A whole gifting section. If you're looking to send Christmas gifts, we can send them directly wherever you'd like them to go.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask. So I could say, maybe I'm from here, but I would really love to send a box of our locally grown vegetables, one of those fun curated boxes, to my friends in Michigan or Indiana or out west. That's something that you can do?
Absolutely. Yep. You can gift anything on our website. You can send a gift card to them directly if you'd like them to experience what we have.
So they could pick out their own items?
Exactly. You can even gift them a subscription. If you'd like to gift somebody 3 months of a best of the season box, you can send that as a gift as well. So as you're looking for Christmas gifts, we have plenty to offer that's a perfect taste of our local area.
Wow, there's just so much going on at Chef's Garden and locally at the farm market and online. Tell us again, one more time, what is that website and what's the best way to, in addition to the website, the social media handles, where to follow you at?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is chefs chefs-garden.com. And then you can find us on Instagram at thechefsgarden_Ohio. You'll see our logo throughout. So if you can find where our logo is, that'll direct you to the right place. You can also find us at the Chef's Garden at Home on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Kate, and good luck with the fall season, and good luck year round. I mean, that's just amazing that you guys are doing such wonderful things.
Oh, thank you so much, Jill. It's been so much fun.
Good. Special thanks to Kate Jones of the Chef's Garden for joining us today. And as always, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a minute of the action here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. You can also find more information, including past episodes of the podcast, online at shoresandislands.com. We'll see you next time on the farm and on the shoreline.